Hello race fans, sim fans, RC fans, Racing 393. So, we're heading back towards the 112 indoor carpet scene. Yes, I've still got my car. I'll show you it later in this video, what I'm planning to do. I've got some other bits for it as well ready. But I'm not professing to know much about it. I'm still learning. But as you can see in front of you here, you'll have to forgive me because I'm going to be reading this rather than looking at the screen. So we've got the AGM meeting minutes. Now, I did read through this yesterday, just briefly. I mean, it's 28 pages. I'm not going to go through all of this because some of it, as you can see, 112 electric circuit does include the GT class, which I haven't got a GT car. Just the LMP 12, but it's a minefield of, I'm going to sort of speak out here a little bit. It's a minefield of technical blah 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 that is it really needed. I understand why you need some rules and certain things, and no doubt those that do this and know a hell of a lot more than I do perhaps could enlighten me on my comments. No, if I say something, it's only from a noob's perspective. I'm not saying it's not law, it's not matter of fact, it's just my perspective. If I don't understand it, I'll just say it how it is, and hopefully someone will just point me in the right direction. That's all this is really about, or this part of the video anyway. So meeting minutes. So we're going to scoot down for this. It's just bits and pieces there. There's some costs there, which I'm not too bothered about. Certain individuals, blah 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 blah. Right, so I'm only going to go through the LMP ones and my thoughts. Some of it incorporates the GT stuff as well. So you can see here, 12 electric circuit, LMP and GT. So the bits in red are what they want to change. I think, let me just read this quickly. So 2-day national meetings, enough pit tables for 100 drivers. It must be provided. For 1-day national meetings, provision for suitable tables and chairs for competitors is required unless prior authorization for competitors to supply their own. Now, is that some venues have the tables? So competitors, if they bring their own, there ain't room. Let's read what the description is. The aim of this proposal is to make organising 1-day national meetings, for example, for the GT12, a less onerous, what's that say? Onerous project to host clubs. I suppose it's for the smaller clubs, is it? Most participants will have sufficient notice to purchase foldable tables to enable this change to happen. Blah, 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 blah. So, let me read that again. So I suppose it's probably for some of the meetings, probably 1-day meetings, so that competitors, we're talking national series, so I'm guessing you're going to get more people there, aren't you? Passed unanimously. I can't really see an issue with that, but it's sometimes trying to read this, understand it, and talk to you, my brain can only do one thing at a time. So is that because there's sufficient space? Oh, okay. So I suppose when you have all these tables set out in a hall, indoors, presumably, you've got to have them so that, for health and safety reasons, no one's blocking fire exits and things. So if you allow, you've got tables already up and then people bring their own. I suppose also what I noticed at the last national event I went to this year, seems like last year, people can be a little bit greedy and end up, they had like specific tables for the teams. And all you noobs and idiots can go in the corner. But I suppose, I said that a bit lightly, of course, but people could start putting more tables on there and taking up more space, I guess. Right, this is a procedural thing. And that was failed. I'm not even reading it. It doesn't matter. I'm not bothered. It won't affect me. End of. Another procedural thing. Again, this is to do with a minimum of 8 drivers must complete enough counting rounds in a class championship. So, is a class with a handful of entrants where positions are separated by several laps, something that should be recognised at national level competition. Okay, so that means classes can still run with low entries if deemed appropriate. You never know who's going to turn up, and I suppose you're going to be segregating smaller events, I guess, with a few quick drivers, and then you got a few like local drivers. I don't know. Is that what that means? And you got to compete in enough rounds. Right. Okay. So you can't just do 1 or 2 rounds to be counted for the national championship, I suppose. Or does it say that? For that class to be recognised as a BCRA national championship. It's not going to affect me anyway. So it says here the amendments. The proposal was amended to state a minimum of 15 drivers must compete the first round. It was designed to vote separately on the different elements of the proposal so as to ensure a cohesive outcome. I did go to school and learn English. And I'm reasonably intelligent. Sometimes things just go. It doesn't affect me anyway, so I'm not going to care about that one. Another procedural thing. Deleted. Who cares? I don't even know. That's a waste of. To me, I suppose it's important for those in it, but it's not, I'm looking for my noob. Right, delete. So this one, that by the way, delete. I suppose that's like a mouse click, isn't it? Right, here we go. What's this one? So this will affect LMP and GT. I'm just sort of reading through it. Well, it doesn't really matter. It was a fail, wasn't it? It's red. Don't bother reading that one. Another procedural one. This is just the people that are really good can't go and race in GT12 and sort of clean up, I guess, because I suppose GT12 National Series, that's generally the stepping stone to LMP, isn't it? I mean, I went straight into LMP. Maybe I should have gone for the GT, but I didn't. Doesn't affect. Oh, it's failed anyway. I must check the red bit. Another failed one. And this was probably to do with the engine turn. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Obviously went to 13.5 is too fast. That's what I've got in it, 13.5. Anyway, red, gone. There was one that nearly affected me in here, which I'm glad they rejected. What was this one? So they're going to run like another new GT175 class. Was that rejected? Yeah, so all that, and it's rejected anyway. So my thoughts on that is a bit like normal racing. So, I mean, I'll go from like stock and karting and stock car racing. You dilute, in fact, it's motorsport was genuine, I think. You dilute the formula. So back in the day, for example, karting had, you had your cadets, you had your junior Britain, senior Britain, 100 national, Formula A, Formula A. For the non-gearbox 5, that's all there was. Without going into too much detail now, you've got your Bambinos. I mean, that's okay. It's even younger drivers, but with Rotax Max, and then you got the heavyweights. I think you've always had heavyweights, so drivers who are slightly bigger. It's going to be disadvantaged. So you should have light and heavy. You still only need. They've got so many different types of karting classes that over the course of the UK, you split all the drivers into these classes, and then you get small classes. Stock car racing was the same. The big sort of formulas in stock car racing, and I'm talking about something different here, but you've had your bangers, you'd have had your hot rod, you'd have had your super stock, and then you've had your stock rod, and then I'm not forgetting some. Maybe you'd have had your V8 stock car and your saloon stock car. To be honest, that's how it used to be. So you really did one of those 6, but you get like rookie bangers, national bangers, rookie rods, and then like other formulas used to sort of pop up here and then, like Hodge rods, and you got like super stocks, then you got like classic super stocks. I know you can't race them together, and I understand why they've done that. And classic hot rods, I understand why they've done that. But you're diluting everything, and you get perhaps small grids of everything rather than bigger grids. I know some of those was a bad example, but all I'm saying is that another group of 12 scale cars dilutes that. Are they trying to get rid of the shit drivers like me? Don't know. I'm just looking at this now. So, actually, one of these here says so I could actually do GT12 if I put a body shell on it and change the wheels. But I'm guessing they've got things like, yeah, I suppose so you can use the same chassis to use an either or. But it's still got this 17.5 motor. I can't remember what I've got in mind now. I should know, shouldn't I? But I don't. It doesn't matter. I'll look in a minute. Anyway, who cares? Failed. Get rid of that. Another one, which a rule proposal. So the bits in red is what they've changed. That was rejected anyway. Oh no, it was amended. LMP12 spec class. Are they changing it? What have I got? Let's read this. Hang on a minute. So 1.2.3 is what's changed. It currently says BRCA National Sports Championship will be for motors in accordance with the electric board brushless spec motor list as updated from time to time. The minimum wind of the motor will be 13.5 turns with no maximum wind. So that's what's changed. Well, that's what it is. The proposed wording, BRC8 National Sports LMP GT. Oh, hang on. Have I misread that? What does that mean? Will be, because that's the, isn't that the GT12? With the motors in accordance with electric board, blah, 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 that's the same. The minimum wind of motor will be 17.5. So that's a bit confusing, right? So tell me why is that? Why am I confused? It's not GT. Oh, it does say GT. Okay, all right, I'll take that back. But when I say LMP12 spec classes, LMP12 as opposed to LMP GT, what are those things? The other ones, they're just GTs, aren't they? GT12, I thought they were called. So you've got LMP12, Le Mans prototype, which is what I'm racing, and then you've got GT12. Why am I confused? And then you've got LMP GT, and it's 17.5. I'm pretty sure that's what's in the touring cars, and I'm pretty sure. What do I run in my car? I'm going to have a look. No doubt I'll correct myself in a minute. So, BRCA LMP12 construction rules 1.2 minimum weight for LMP12 classes is 730. The minimum weight for LMP GT is 800. It just says there 1.2 was minimum weight. Does that mean that the LMP12, it does, doesn't it? 730, which is what mine is, and then slightly heavier because it's got bigger shells. And maybe not, I don't know. Is that what that is? That's what I read it as. You got LMP 12 classes, body shells. So it's got this red. Must meet the requirement shown in Appendix 1 on the website. Okay. And then we're going to, for the LMP 12 GT classes, only 112 scale GT style bodies are permitted. LMP 12 class, that again covers both. I think that's bad wording personally. Whatever it is, the speed of the current stock class has gradually increased over recent seasons such that it is no longer a stock speed. The increase in speeds, along with the spool type axle, so spool is a solid axle, and the cars are more challenging to drive. More challenging to drive, narrowed usable setup windows, and made the class less suited to grip levels seen at many club meetings and tracks at smaller venues. It is hoped that this rule change will encourage more club level racing and allow competitors to participate at national meetings. What's that? Oh, I missed something here. What does that mean then? I know there's one particular person that will know this. Hopefully he will watch this and say, look, this is what it means. So I don't run a spool, although watch this space. I've got a ball diff in mine. Meant to be easy to drive, but we'll come back to that. So the amended proposal passed. Okay, right, what's this one? LMP. Some of this, I'm so confused. That's red anyway. I'm not even going to read it. Who cares? This is another one. This is a weird one. I don't understand. Body shells. I know they got to have like regulation shells. I suppose it's to stop people coming out with one-offs, which they probably would. So these are the organising bodies for the shell list. And they're saying no longer a need to maintain a BRCA list for shells, and it allows UK racers competing in international races to practice with all available shell up. Anyway, it's failed. It didn't go through. Who cares? This one's another red one. We'll scoot past that. That was rejected. This is GT12, so that doesn't really affect me. It's rejected. GT12, no. GT12, no. They've got the LMP crossed out there for some reason, so I'm guessing it applies to GT, but not that. So this is the one. So what they're saying, that the rear axle on either one of these, LMP or GT, the rear axle must have an articulated element, so, like a diff. The differential should be open and not locked, like a spool. And that was because it was easy to drive. So maybe they want the GT cars easy to drive. Anyway, it's failed anyway. Who cares? I'm reading it and I'm getting so drawn into stuff. That one there was for GTs. Doesn't really affect me. And it's gone anyway. No. So that's it. Where does that leave me? The same as I was before I read it. So, I'm bewildered now. Let me think what I'm going to say next. Right. Let's go on to something which I might know a little bit about. Let's move on to my car, which is up there, but I'm going to get it down, put it on the table, and we'll have a little chat about my plans going forward. So here we are, away from the BRCA minutes and meetings and proposals. A little less confused now. So, LMP12. This is my LMP12. Now, I haven't done anything between my last video of this and today. So we're now in sort of late September, heading into October,
And I'm guessing as the winter series starts to kick in, the indoor events will start. Now, I did plan to do some outdoor events this year. I never got around to it. I've actually bought a touring car, new, but it's still in the box. I haven't even opened it. So there you go. So this was the car. I used this. Last time I used this one here, I did the BRCA event. I think that's the one I did, wasn't it? And then I did a little RC meetup with some like-minded people where we sort of could bring as many cars as you want and go around. It was West Moseley, the pits. And, you know, I took this out. It's got some different tyres on it. I'll show you in a minute. And this shell. And this shell's it is a team bomber. And I was being told time and time again, I've said this many times, I didn't realise how much the shell makes a big difference. So I was well impressed. It has got a little bit of battering on there, to be honest. The other shell I've got, which I had anyway, I've not even tried this one yet. This is the Montec. This is the one I think they're all using, or potentially. So it looks fairly same to this. It's not far off. So I can try that out the next time I go to West Moseley, which will be on the 15th of October. There's another RC meetup, and I'm going to take this again because it's the only time I'm going to get to practice. The only downside is they put them out F1 cars, which and other pan cars, which makes sense. But they also put like the oval banger cars out with the same cars. I mean, that's ridiculous. And they weren't banging and crashing around. But anyway, they're a bit heavier, sturdy. So even if you hit one of them with this, it's not as light. You can damage this car. And these are, even for me, this went around there pretty quick. It wasn't the quickest. There were other pan cars, LMP cars going around, and some of them were, well, one was quicker than me, others were sort of similar pace. Interesting. So I'm hoping they might keep things like that a bit separated. I think the F1 cars are fine because they're lightweight, but you don't want to put these out with the oval cars. I think the oval cars should have their own little time slot, if I'm honest, because then they can hit each other like you can. I mean, I haven't got one, and if I did, I'd use that out there. But you've got to be careful with these whizzing around and those bangers and the Mardev stuff because of just the difference in the cars. But anyway, we're going to get this out on the 15th again. Now, one of the things regarding the rule changes proposal, I think it was because they wanted to put, my understanding was, ensure that you don't run a solid spool axle because they're harder to drive, and the skill level is much higher to get those around there at the speeds that they do. Now, I've not tried a solid axle. This come with a solid axle initially, and I'll put a ball diff in it. Now, I've now got a spool axle with the 3 screw wheels because I use the bolts on rather than the hex. So I've got this. So I'm going to build up an axle and swap it out once I've gone round in this a few times on the 15th of October at the pits, and see what difference it is. I want to try and keep things fairly similar. So yeah, I've got that. That's been out of stock forever, but yeah, I've got it there. So what I've also got is another body shell. This one's just been, what's the word I'm looking for? Passed. You can use this in LMP 12. Super rad competition bodies. So I've got a new one here. It looks different. I'm not going to get it out here. It's just a clear shell. It is what it is. It probably does, to me, doesn't look a lot different. Maybe the front's different, so I can see where the front's slightly different to what these ones are. But I'll get some paint on that, or one colour, maybe not this colour, different colour, and we'll hopefully get this to go around as well to see if I notice any difference on that as well. So that's the first thing. That's only recently been allowed or put onto the BRCA website. So I've got one of them. I've got these off of Zen Racing. In fact, that came from Zen Racing. I've just got some contact tyres, a bit like these ones. So I've got my own tyre truer, but for an extra quid, I've got them to turn it down. So these are quite soft. What are these ones? I think they're the same actually. So 30SH. That's the rear's front K 30SH. Don't know. I don't think there is no, although there might be. Yeah, so again, it's just tyres which are trued and they should work. I mean, I found that when I tried this at the pits, what I did find was it was much easier to drive. Now, I don't know if it's a combination of the diff, the tyres and the shell. I've always had that ball diff in. It is fairly free. I know I can tighten it up, but it may well be the fact that the downforce on the shell made it more stable in the corners. It definitely turned in more. Or it could be the fact of the tyres. These tyres were also bought from Zen Racing, and I don't know if that's not clipping on there, is it? That might be adjusting. Or the fact that a combination of all those things. Now, I haven't, when I fitted this shell, I made a bit of a faux pas, if I'm honest. It is on there, but it is under a little bit of tension, which is annoying. And I've only got this, it's almost like translucent paint. No other reason other than I thought it would be okay. Now the motor, you know, there's all sorts of things like, that's got damage on that tyre, I didn't even know that. When did that happen then? These are sort of tyres I've only just, well, not long had them. I did put, or I didn't. Did I not do that? So super glue around the edges. Maybe I didn't do that. I thought I did actually. Yeah, I did. So it has got super glue around the edges. And the wheel is damaged there. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. It has got damage on there. I didn't even know that was on there. And it hasn't done that much use. That one's a little bit tighter in there, so I can free that up. There's a bit of setup to do on this. Even the back's got damage. So yeah, and what motor have I got? I hear me ask. I don't know. Why can't I remember that? Oh, 13.5. It's 13.5. Does that mean that I stay 13.5 on those rules? Have I got to do anything? I don't think I have. I haven't actually looked at this right ever, so anyway, what else did I do this? So I did change this back support thing here. I don't know if you remember, but the inserts were loose in the other one. They were brass inserts, and these are, I think, aluminium inserts. I had a lot of issues with titanium screws coming off and snapping, and I would say that's my driving more than anything. I also suppose I will need to redo the damping on this, like re-oil them. That's fine. I mean, I might go down a slightly smaller pinion to get a little bit more acceleration. I don't know yet. Just a tooth or so. I think I've got spare pinions. And then again, this body shell can go on, and we can perhaps try that one. I'll try a combination of all three of these. That one, this one, that one. But trying to keep things fairly equal, and then trying these tyres. The fact that these are damaged is purely my fault, where I hit things, and I have to make sure that the edges of the tyres are super glued so that it limits the damage, although that one has damage. This one, it's not quite as freewheeling as I'd like it to be, so that probably wants a bit of a clean up. But yeah, so we've got enough to do. We've got 3 body shells. We've got these set of tyres. We've got these set of tyres. We've got a diff, ball diff, and then a spool diff. Well, it's not a diff, is it? Spool axle. Should be enough to get me noticing the difference in the car. And what I'm hoping to do, if I do any racing, well, not if, when I do some racing, I'd like to film it this time. From me, I don't know, wear something on my head, so you can see how shit I am. I can see what I noticed, the massive difference when I put this red shell on. It just seemed a lot easier to drive than when I've still got my old one, but the one I was told to get rid of immediately by loads of people. It was so much different. But what I do need to do is make sure that when I fit these shells, they're fitted much neater. I haven't even tried this one. I don't even know how and if it fits on neat and tidy, or I've got to do something with it. It's super thin. It is there. Let me try and move that out of there a minute. That there, it's like, I don't know. It's flapping around. This one's a little bit stiffer this side. But that is on there. But I'm not sure. It's not quite perfectly set. I think the front's a little bit better. Maybe the front can go a little bit lower. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I can try it. It's all dusty. Look, I mean, you can see there's more dust on it than there is, which probably doubles the weight. Yeah, as much as how important this is, don't damage it. I mean, it is on there, so we'll try that. I mean, that is. I mean, can you see that? Should it be that thin? The other side's all right, and it was bought as a thin, like a thin shell for lightweightness. Also, somewhere I've got the antenna stalk which goes in, because I still run the antenna on these. But yeah, I just noticed that because it's sort of hidden away in there. So anyway, so that the shell does fit slightly better. Just needs a clean. Yeah, what else? Nothing else really to say about this, other than I'll see you on the next video, because we'll get this out of the pits. I'll probably film at the pits. I'll probably get some footage of me driving it around, maybe each time, so you can see the difference. I can't bring more than one car because it's just, this takes too much of my time anyway. And you know, it's like you bring like crap loads of stuff and you've got it everywhere, and you never really, I don't really need to take the other cars out. As it happens, I have got something here for the, not these cars, this is from the other cars, when I take them out for like doing speed runs and just generally on the rubber tired cars, nitro or electric. I've got some tyre softener. I don't know if it'll work, probably not, but why not, hey? Because it wasn't expensive. It wasn't cheap. No, it wasn't expensive. Right, so that's the end of that video. I'm hoping it hasn't gone on for too long, and I hope you sort of get my idea about where I'm going with this. So likewise, anyone with feedback on the BRCA minutes and meetings, just to sort of clarify if I missed anything, if I said anything wrong, and just clarify, is there anything that I should be doing? Have I got to change my motor? I don't think I have. Still 13.5 rather than 17. Am I right in that? I think it will make a lot of difference anyway to me. If I put a 17.5 in there, I'd be still just the same sort of pace. Or do I go into a different class? Do I need to go in a different class? Are they trying to get the crap drivers out of the national class? You know, what's going on? Anyway, welcome back to LMP 12 Carpet Scene. I will see you in a few weeks, 15th of October. Well, I'll see you. That's when I'm going to be next using the car, and that's also when I'm going to do some more filming of me driving, hopefully. So I'll see you soon. for the next instalment and the run up to 23-24, and see how we get on with this LMP 12. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your feedback. If you can consider liking and subscribing, it would be appreciated, just for the fact of getting to 500. A little bit of a milestone for me. The more the merrier, as they say, and I shall see you soon. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.